Right, good morning, Durham Veterans. Welcome to our first podcast, and I'm delighted to welcome on this morning two members of the Sunderland BLC, Joanne and Kath, two lovely people, good friends of mine, and do so much for the community. So, ladies, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you
for having us.
No, thank you for coming on. It's very much appreciated. Obviously, you're both part of the Sunderland BLC, and with our viewers, obviously on the East Durham Veterans page, it's predominantly veterans, but not just in the East Durham and Sunderland area, but from across the UK and in some cases abroad as well. So I think we're best off starting off first of all was just actually explaining what the Sunderland BLC is, because people will be thinking, BLC, what's that? You know, they won't know. So I think it's best if we can just start off, if we just totally over the use to just tell us all about Sunderland BLC.
Off you go, Kath.
No pressure there. The BLC stands for the Sunderland Branch Liaison Council. We're made up of 40 branches across the UK and overseas. We've got two big branches in America. We have branches in Taiwan, in Germany, in Dubai. We've got the Irish Black Cats, and we cover like the length and breadth of Britain, really. It was formed back in the 70s when Bob Murray was chairman, and he wanted to have a platform where supporters could meet with the club on a regular basis to discuss any concerns, anything really, and also to meet up with travelling supporters. But as times evolved, we don't meet with travelling supporters, because at that time it was like we'll meet in the club above Roca Park, play dominoes and whatever. Well, nobody does that now. So we've evolved to where we are today. We have 6 meetings a year, with the officials from Sunderland Football Club. We've had meetings where we've had Stuart there, we've had Charlie there, Chris comes every meeting, Chris Waters, Louise Wanless, we've had Tony Davison, and in the past we've had directors from Ella Short's time. We had meetings with Martin Bain. It's a platform where we can raise concerns, and you know, people say, oh well, only interested in tickets. No, we're not. The BLC now do so much more than we did then. We do raise concerns with ticketing with the club, and we have direct access into the ticket office and you know the senior managers regarding the tickets. Yes, the branches do transport for supporters. It's the safest way for supporters to travel, really. And we can pick supporters up locally, take them to the ground, to the match, get there safely, and they come home. And they're all looked after. And it just becomes really the football family in general. Then if we fast forward to last year, the way the branch liaison changed, we then start looking into the mental health hub. I mean, do you know what the background is into us running the mental health hub?
No, but that is on my list to talk about, to be honest with you.
I'll leave it to that one then.
So basically what we're saying is that the Sunderland BLC, you're out there for Sunderland AFC supporters, not just in the country, but overseas as well. You just actually held the International Fans Day about 2 months ago. That's right, isn't it? Where you invited all the supporters from abroad, and you had people come from, you know, Canada, America. I think you had people from Asia and Australia you know, and everyone congregated, and you looked after everybody for the whole weekend. You put a whole package on. So you're all about the community, is what you're saying, is about Sunderland BLC in the short, isn't it? You're about the community within Sunderland and bringing everybody together and making sure everybody's looked after.
It is. It's very much a football family, and that's what we want.
That's fantastic. So what I really want to talk to you about today is mental health. As you know, I'm massive on mental health, and I know how important it is. And one of the reasons I want to talk to you about this today is because obviously we've got the pandemic going on at the moment. But I personally think we've had another pandemic for a while now, which has been mental health. And I don't think we've got the infrastructure in the country to deal with mental health. And that's why what you ladies are doing is so important, okay, with the mental health hub. So you hold the mental health hub at Sunderland. Let's first of all talk about how did it come about, first of all?
I'll go now, Kath.
Go on then.
So we unfortunately across our branches we lost a couple of guys to suicide, and I think it was the Shields Washington branch come together and said, we want to do something, but why don't we do a bit of a fundraiser and, you know, get some money together for a local man health. It's a group that predominantly works with guys in our area. So we had a talk in. Stuart Donald come along. We raised £2,500 that one night. We give half to the foundation and we give half to Man Health. And from there, it was bizarre because we heard quite a lot of more suicides within our community, within the football community. Some as young as 16, you know, like it was becoming increasingly everywhere. It just was everywhere. So we decided then as branches to do some training with Washington Mind, who have just supported us from the very beginning. And I've got to say the club has as well. They've been marvellous. So I think we ran 2 sets of training, didn't we, with Washington Mind? Right, and Andrew, you did it yourself, didn't you?
I've been on it. Yeah, it's fantastic, absolutely brilliant.
What we wanted is someone on each coach or each branch to kind of just to recognise or have the tools to be able to guide or signpost someone if they were having a bit of a crap time, you know. So it evolved from there. Then we were fundraising, getting some kind of awareness out, and then we were all in Portugal. A lot of the branches for the pre-season, we all gathered in Portugal, having a few drinks, and we were chatting about it. And it came out we were wanting to do something more practical rather than, you know, raising money for someone. Can we not do something ourselves? So we approached the Foundation of Light. We approached Washington Mind, had a few meetings backwards and forwards, threw lots of ideas together and came up with the country's, if not the world's, first ever match day mental health hub where you can access support straight away on a match day if you're having a bad time.
And that's fantastic. Honestly, I think it's just absolutely amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the fundraising. So did you have a target when you first started for the fundraising? Did you say I've got to reach this amount before we can make this happen?
We kind of approached Washington Mind, didn't we? And we said, what would it cost if we were to bring in 2 of your fully qualified counsellors for a couple of hours on a match day? So they put like a bill together, if you like, for the rest of that season. So we had a set amount that we knew we needed to try and raise.
That's great. And so with regards to the fundraising, what did you actually do?
We had quite a few talk-ins, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we had Stephen Elliott, Danny Collins, Kieran Brady. So we have had a few talk-ins and we've got a few more planned because obviously we didn't want to be a one-season wonder.
Yeah.
We wanted next season. So now we're fundraising for next season, which we have started with for fundraising. We've had a couple more talk-ins. And then we should have had one April, wasn't it, Joanne?
Yeah.
Which obviously with the pandemic, we had to postpone it, and we're looking hopefully, well, depending when the pubs open and everything, maybe September, October time.
Yeah.
And again, that's going to form a big chunk of our fundraising for next year.
Yeah.
Because we know how much we're looking to raise, and it's a few thousand that we need. Because next season we'll have like every match day again. Where this season we didn't start it till November, because by the time you had meetings and plans and we had put service level agreements in place, work on the confidentiality aspect. So there was lots of things in the background that we needed to get right.
Yeah.
Before, when you think we started with this vision, like Joanne said, in Portugal in July, so to get everything in place, normal agreements and confidentiality, the counsellors and everything else in place to be ready to open and launch beginning of November. That's
great. You mentioned a name there, which rings bells for me, is Kieran Brady, and I know he's suffered his own mental health problems throughout his playing career, hasn't he? So to have someone like Kieran on board who's prepared to come forward and talk about mental health from your own personal perspective, I think that's absolutely fantastic.
He did a really good job at that first talking we had at Victor's in town. The whole room was silent. He really shared his personal story and it was marvellous. And of course we had Washington Mind there on the night with information, leaflets, in case anything, opened for people, so it was a safe space as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. But it just shows that, you know, these footballers who get a lot of bad press, they also suffer just like anybody else, you know. And so for Kieran to come forward, I think it's just absolutely fantastic. We'll move on then. We'll talk about Washington Mind. Obviously, the dealings I've had with Washington Mind have been through yourselves. Obviously, I attended the suicide awareness course that is invited us along to come to, and I've met the councils on match day, you know, and I've been to fundraisers where you've had Washington Mind as well. Let's talk about a little bit, how did you come to getting into contact with Washington Mind?
For you, Joanne.
We'd had some dealings with Kathy McKenna, who's there. She's the training lead, and we asked her to come along on that first night. She spoke as well about the training that they do and had lots of guidance for people, and it grew from there. And we've actually got an amazing relationship with them. The different councillors who come along on a match day, a large amount of them are not football fans, and they don't really get the football, but the crack we have on a match day and the fan zone being in the foundation, you know, we've got Samson and Delilah coming in to see us, and they just love the passion that they've seen with the supporters, that they're kind of addicted to it now. They love it. They don't exactly got the games yet, but they've started the part of their football family.
They can't believe either, can they, that we've got, like Phil Parkinson came along, we've had players come in, they can't believe that they're actually coming in to support us in the way that they do. I mean, the police come in, don't the most matches, to pop their head in and say hello. And
quite often the travelling police. So what we'll do, you know, pre-lockdown, what we'd tweet on the morning to say we're playing Rotherham, to let Rotherham fans know that this is where we are. It's not just Sunderland fans, you're welcome in as well. It's about the football community. So we often get the travelling police who come in to poke their heads in and just, you know, see where we are.
Oh, that's fantastic. Moving on from Washington Mind, so obviously you had Washington Mind on board, you've got the foundation on board. What about, and you're talking there about obviously Phil Parkinson's popping his head in. I know you've had a couple of the owners pop their heads in during match days. What support have you had from that side, from the club itself, from Sunderland BLC towards the match day hub?
We wanted to approach it differently, because when we were talking about it, when we won Portugal and afterwards, we didn't want it to be club-led. We thought it was more important that it was fans supporting fans. So we actually accosted Stuart outside. Well, I did a charity event, wasn't we? Accosted him outside Sunrise. It was your night. And we said to him, we've had this idea, we've sort of done something. He went, right, what have you done? So we told him, he went, that's brilliant. What do you want from us? What do you want from me? What we said was, what we wanted from the club was to support us with promotions. They are supporting us with publicity. So they are supporting us, but in a completely different way, because we didn't feel it would work the same if it was fans going into the club. So it was really important that it was fans supporting fans. And we we got in touch with the FSA and with FSA Fair Cop and told them what our vision was in the EFL. And they said the same. You know, the important message is it's fans supporting fans. The club support us. Whatever we ask for, they're great. And they do everything we ask, don't they, Joanne?
Oh, yeah, they are very supportive.
Yeah. But we just do it differently.
We had a number of clubs contact us, didn't we, Kath, through that SFA? Chelsea, Huddersfield, a few more, asking how did you go about setting it up? Can we have a little bit more? So we looked into kind of, can we share our story with other clubs? And we were going to go around, we've been invited to Huddersfield, haven't we, to talk about it. But rather than go around the country, which we're more than happy to do to different clubs, we had a little vision. And I spoke to Stuart Donald about it, and I said, rather than us go around the country, how about can we have just some place in the stadium, and we'll hold a fans mental health conference at the stadium, invite all the clubs, whoever wants to come, invite their fans liaison officers, their police, their local mind, if they do have one, and kind of have it all under one roof so we can share our message. And again, you know, hopefully it will happen once lockdown's finished. But he just said, you've got my support, whatever you need, just liaise with Chris Waters, who's wonderful, bless him.
Yeah,
So
absolutely
fingers crossed
fantastic.
that will happen.
That's great. I was just going to pick on something you said there, and it's a little punchline you've got, which is fans supporting fans. And I think it's great because what that says to me is that's people supporting people. It's not Sunderland fans supporting Sunderland fans. It could be any supporter of any club supporting anyone else from another club. So with fans supporting fans, you did a couple of other incentives, didn't you? One of the ones I want to talk about is the having your friends back. When you turn your shirts back to back, obviously you turn your shirts the opposite way around, so you've got each other's back and everything else. And I saw loads of people around the stadium doing that, turning the shirts around, and they were sharing the pictures on social media and stuff like that. So, do you want to explain a little bit more how that came about?
Do you want?
I think we do that one.
It was an initiative really from Heads Together, and as you know, they've been doing something with the EFL all season long, and it was an initiative from them saying, you know, it's important to talk and have your mates back. So as part of that, that's what we did. We turned our shirts round, we advertised it, we promoted it. We had other branches where we'd said, look, can you do us a favour? Have you got your mates back? Told them what it was. Like, right, how do we support it? But it really got the message going, because people were saying, well, why has that idiot got the shirt on back to front? And we're saying, well, actually, it's a message, have your mates back. Well, what's that about? So then we're saying, well, it's all about the mental health and, you know, how it's important to talk to people. So it really was a good talking point. Get the people to open up.
Yeah, you got people talking about it, didn't you? At the end of the day, that's what you have achieved there. By doing that, people started talking about it in the stands. You know, I was there in the stands when people were talking about it. So just that small thing that you've done there by asking a few people to swap the shirts around, other people have joined in, then everyone got talking about mental health, which is absolutely fantastic.
Well, we had one person that we contacted and said to them, have you heard about this? Will you do us a favour? And when you do it, will you take photos and send it? So as we're coming out the pub, they were stopped and asked, why have you got your shirt back to front, mate? What's this about? So they explained what it was. So then they actually turned their shirts back to front and had photos taken, and other people were stopping them and asking.
Yeah, just spiraled on, didn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Right, let's talk about the hub itself now, the match day hub. So you've got a room within the foundation on match days, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's talk about, obviously you have a couple of counsellors in there. Now, if you had somebody come off the street and come in, can you just like quickly go over the process of, you know, if they come in, what's the next stages for them when they come in?
Do you want to say that? So what we're creating a very, very safe space where, you know, we want to reduce the stigma around it. So it's an open dialogue. We have a room, like you said, but we also have an extra room where people can go to access private space with the counsellors. It's very confidential. The only thing we take is a gender. You know, we've got a big thing, someone's gender and their postcode, so we can track how many people are coming in. It's for the foundation, I think that, isn't it? So in the first area that you come in, there's always fans coming to the spot to chat to us. So we're sitting there. There's any amount of paraphernalia that, should you just want to come in and pick something up and go, you can. Wash it in mind, bring all kinds of stuff. And then you've got access to that counsellor straight away. We had one guy who came in and contacted us a few weeks later, and part of his plan, or whatever he'd said with the counsellor, was to go to his GP that week. And the GP could not believe that he'd gone to a football game and accessed support from a counsellor. The GP would have had to put him on a waiting list anyway. Yeah. So, you know, you can get that very important first contact with somebody.
And that's absolutely great. So once they've had that first contact, are they then on the scope of Washington Mind, if you like, to get further counselling?
Yeah, I think there's different services they offer, which will be tailored to that person, I suppose, whatever they've gone in for. But they do offer a lot of different things at Washington Mind. Yeah,
and Washington Mind can do a referral if they need to. Washington Mind will do an immediate referral. Yeah. Which again, through your GP, you would have to wait.
Yeah, if we just emphasise, though, it doesn't have to be like a match day football supporter. Anybody can come down on match day. Just walk into the foundation. You're easy to find. There's posters everywhere, and obviously come get the help. And exactly like you just said there, Joanne, you know, the doctor couldn't get over that. You could just walk in and get help rather than being put on a waiting list. So I think that's it's really important that I emphasise that now, that you can just walk straight in and get the help that you need.
We did have a lady who isn't a Sunderland fan. She'd heard about it through a friend, and she was actually on the bus going through the Wheat Chief into town.
Yeah.
And just at a spur of the moment got off and come in and access support, which I think is incredibly brave, because a match day, crowds, you know, it could be quite intimidating, but she come in and access support without being a Sunderland fan.
That's great. And I don't want you to share numbers or names or anything like that with us, but you have had success through the match day hub, and like you just give one example there. You've had people come in and they've getting the help they need, haven't they?
Well, I mean, we're not breaking confidentiality because we don't have names or anything. I mean, when, like Joanne said before, they asked for a postcode. We give them the form, that's all they fill in, and it would be like SR8.
Yeah.
We can't track it to an individual address or anything. But that's to show for funding what area we're supporting. But out of 8 hubs that we've had 6 people seek help and support.
Fantastic.
We thought if we can get 2 people in the season, we're doing great. But it shows the need that's there.
Damn, you better believe it does. That's absolutely, it's awesome, because that's 6 people not on a waiting list then. And it's 6 people coming in and getting the help they need, you know, and it just shows what an absolutely fantastic facility this is that yous have put in place in Sunderland on match days. It's absolutely incredible.
What we also do, Chris, when we've got visiting clubs, Chris will tell the supporter liaison at the visiting club that this facility is available, so that they can share with their branches and their people as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Just talk a little bit about future development of it. Joanne, you've touched on it already regards to Huddersfield and Chelsea, but you're talking about, you know, wanting to hold a mental health conference with all the clubs come up and everything else. But if we just touch on Chelsea, I know that Chelsea have made a few steps, haven't they? They've put some rooms aside, is that correct?
Chelsea are slightly different. They've identified a couple of rooms that they can use, but they don't have a mind. We've got Washington Mind supporting. They don't have the same sort of support. So Washington Mind are working with charities in the area to see what support they can have.
All right, that's great. And so as it's going forward, and so what's the way you want to project this out with other clubs coming up? Are you hoping that other clubs will take this on and then and spread it out amongst their teams on match days?
I think it's pretty tough, because what Sunderland has that I'm sure every other club thinks their fans are the best, but I think our fans are the best. We're special because we've got a group of supporters who've come together, and I mean it's bigger than just the council, the committee that you see. Every branch, because you know they all come to our dues. Everyone's part of it, really. Even if they've just come and paid a £5 for that talking, they're part of it, you know.
Yeah.
So we're kind of relying on other teams to have a group of supporters who will take it forward if they were to follow our fans supporting fans model. So, but hopefully, you never know. It would be nice to spread it out across the country.
But you were saying there as well, Andrew, Huddersfield actually approached, was 8:45 on Wednesday night, and started ringing us and emailing and said, look, if we pay expenses, can you both come down to help us set it up?
Yeah.
We'll do anything because we want everybody to have this. But he's also shared it with clubs in Germany.
Oh, right. So you're going European now?
But because he said like the German clubs are very much into this as well.
Yeah.
So he's actually shared our model with some of the German clubs. So we think that's absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, it is. Definitely get it out there. Definitely. One last thing on the mental health hub I want to talk about. I do believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you got a letter off His Royal Highness.
We met him as well.
You met him as well. Let's talk about that then. First of all, tell us how it came about. Tell us how it came about, and then tell us exactly. Tell us the full story.
Go on, Kath, I
was
can't remember
surreal.
how we went down.
It was surreal. Was sitting in work and got an email from Louise Wanless saying, hi ladies, hope you don't mind, I've nominated you for this. And so reading it, I think, oh my God. And I was like, we've just been invited down to London to meet Prince William. And so message to Joanne, went, read your emails quick. And Louise had nominated us to go down to meet with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge for the Heads Up campaign and launch because of the work that we've done with the Mental Health Hub.
Fantastic.
It was just so surreal, wasn't it? Do you want to take it over, Joanne?
I didn't think he would be there, to be fair. So we got there. I was thinking, there he's there. Woo! And he came over and he introduced himself. And we needed to get Sunderland in. I was like, I'm Joanne from Sunderland. And I asked him if he'd watched Sunderland Till I Die. And he said, I did. And he said, the second one will be out soon, won't it? So he must have watched it. And the good thing about it was we got to mix with other fan liaison officers from Derby. We introduced ourselves to everyone and tried our best to tell everybody our message, including the Newcastle lady, didn't we? Yes. So yeah, it was a good event to go and to share our Sunderland message.
Oh,
it was
fantastic.
Surreal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Coming back saying, have we actually just met and shook hands with Prince William?
It's fantastic that you've got, obviously, you've been nominated for that. You've gone down there, obviously met Prince William, who's actually a massive football fan himself, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, so, and he knows how important it is. He's obviously got his own incentives going on regarding mental health and everything as well. So to do that, I think that's just absolutely incredible, and a massive well done to you both for everything you've done to achieve that.
Thank you.
If we can just move on now. So I'm going to move away from the mental health hub.
Can I just stop? And I really need to share our message that for during lockdown.
We're moving on to that.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. I thought you were... we can't miss that.
Right. So obviously you had the mental health hub planned throughout the year at the club, but obviously pandemics come around. And so unfortunately, as we all know, no sporting events, mental health club cannot go on because of everything that's going on. So you've put something else in place to help the supporters, help fans supporting fans while this is going on. So over to you two ladies. And I think you're just about to speak about it, Joanne.
Well, at first we were really concerned about, not only is it tougher times for people, this isn't there to access. So we tried through social media to do things like, again, tag your friends, ring your friend, and post it and nominate someone to ring them. And we've done the pink slice thing. We've done shout outs to key workers. But then we got together with Washington Mind over like a Zoom like this and said, what can we do? You know, what can we do? Can we offer something? To cut a very long story short, they come back and said, our counsellors who were already involved with you and know you want to give their time for free. They're volunteering to man a special supporter line that we have access to. So we've got the number and people can ring up and access a supporter, a counsellor.
Great stuff. And it's set times, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 10 till 2, Monday to Friday.
Have you got the number? There we go. All ready to go there. Thank you very much for that, Joanne. So that's absolutely fantastic as well. So you're still offering the support, even though you cannot offer them the mental health hub at this time, which is, again, it's incredible still being offering that support out there to everybody, really, you know. Final question for you both. After lockdown, what's next?
You mean after a drink?
I'll never ever moan about a match again. I'll never moan about being called at a match again. I just want to get back. I miss my friends.
And to get back to the mental health, you know, it's really strange because the mental health hub is addictive.
Yeah.
We've got people volunteering and saying, oh, well, I'll do this week. And we did have a timetable, didn't we, of who was doing what match. And it's like, well, I can't let go. I've got to go in. And there was only one match I had to miss because we had another meeting I couldn't get out of. But what's it like, Joanne? We literally want to be there all the time.
Yeah, it is creating a really, really nice atmosphere. And it's such a shame, but I'm sure we'll hit the ground running again as soon as it's over.
Fantastic, fantastic. Kath, Joanne, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to coming on and talking to us today on my first podcast I've done. So it's been absolutely great speaking to you. It's been great to hear about the mental health hub, how it's come about, everything you've done about it, and what's currently support you're offering at the moment for fans supporting fans while they kind of get in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us and for spreading the message. Really, we need to get the
Got to.
message out.
Yeah,
Support
definitely.
is there. It's available constantly.
You're not wrong, you know. And like I said, after this is all over, I think there'll be a massive demand in this country for mental health services. And me personally, I don't think we've got the infrastructure in the Northeast at the moment. So that is why emphasising and sharing the message about this is just so important. So anybody watching this video, when it goes out on the Durham Veterans page today, can you please just share, and let's get the message out so everyone knows that there is support out there. Obviously, like Joanne's already held a number up for us, you know, give them a ring between 10 and 2, Monday to Friday, and get the support you need. Ladies, thank you very much once again.
Thank you. Stay
Thanks,
safe,
Andrew.
everybody.